there and welcome to Elite Weather. My name is Mr. G. I'm your meteorologist and we got a lot to talk about today, folks, as we saw some record rainfall through parts of Missouri and Kentucky over the last couple of days, and that rainfall is going to continue. So let's get started with our Weather Today segment here as we talk about what we're going to be seeing out through some parts of the nation where some very heavy rainfall is going to be taking place, as well as a lot of heat also. So as we take a look at our radar, we're seeing a lot of scattered showers and rain here through parts of Missouri. Again, more rainfall in St. Louis to Kansas City today, where they're not really needing to see any more rainfall with the record amount of rainfall that they just had, which we'll cover in just a moment. And we're seeing some more showers here through the Central Plains and over into the Northeast as well. We're seeing some showers and storms here through the mid-Atlantic portions of the nation and along through portions of the Southeast. We got a few spotty showers here, as well as out over the Gulf of Mexico and into the Gulf Coast and over into Houston, where they're getting some much needed rainfall along the South Texas coast there. And we're also seeing our monsoons through the desert Southwest here through Arizona and New Mexico, and we're seeing those thunderstorms today even around the Tucson area, and just north of Phoenix is getting a little bit of showers and storms through the Sedona area right now. So some of those storms are going to be heavy and can lead to some flash flooding issues as well. And that is a look at the national radar. And as we take a look at those watches and hazards, we're seeing a lot of heat across the Pacific Northwest right now, as a triple-digit heat is currently in place through parts of the Pacific Northwest and the state of Idaho. So we're seeing temperatures in the 100 to 105 degree range. Very unusual weather for that part of the nation, and we're seeing a lot of that heat in place, and more heat issues here through the Ozarks and parts of the Southern Plains as well. So we're going to see those temperatures in the 100 to 105 degree range, as well as those very high humidities. We have our flooding watch here through parts of Arizona, so a good portion of the state of Arizona is actually under a flash flood watch this afternoon, and we have another flash flood watch into portions of the mid-Atlantic states. We got West Virginia, parts of Virginia, as well as eastern Kentucky and northeastern Tennessee, into parts of far northwestern North Carolina, where we're seeing some of that heavy rainfall taking place right now, and that's going to be leading to some flooding issues in that direction. And here we are as we talk about what has been going on through the state of Missouri. This is just a loop of what the radar was like on Tuesday. As you can see, that rainfall just continuous feeding in here. It's called training when it's doing this, because we had a stationary front in place and a strong low-level jet south of the front coming from the south with strong upper-level winds on the north side of the front. That created a situation called convergence, where those two air masses was colliding and just causing that air to rise and develop those showers and storms, and they weren't being pushed out of the area. They just kept training over the same area. So they received some copious amounts of rainfall on the 26th, the 25th through the 26th, and in fact they had the highest 24-hour rainfall on record there, where they received 9.04 inches of rain, and they also received 7.68 inches of rain in just a 6-hour period. And we're talking about they received 25% of the yearly rainfall total for the entire year for the St. Louis area, just in that one storm system, and they have reached 7.31 inches of rain is the normal amount of rain for July and August combined. They picked up most of that in just a 7-hour period. So very heavy rainfall. Here's a picture of what the setup looked like. Here is our stationary front that was in place, our low-level jet, and then high, strong, upper-level winds to the north of the front, and that created some convergence right in here, and it caused that storms to develop and train. They were kind of just being squeezed through this area here. Just a narrow band. It's usually a very narrow band of very heavy rainfall or precipitation, and it kind of trains along, kind of moves like a train. You know, they just follow each other, all in the same path. And that's just and here is a look of the radar estimates. You can see, if you can see that there, this is 7, 8, 9 inches of rain. In the darker colors is 9, and some of these are even 10 inches just to the south of Kansas City there. So we can see that they received a tremendous amount of rain, and it is still raining today on their Wednesday. So they are still receiving that rainfall, and it's forecast to continue to see that rainfall through at least Friday. So portions of Missouri, Kentucky, Tennessee, northern Arkansas, southern Illinois, southern Indiana is going to be seeing that heavy rainfall continue for the next couple of days. And here is your weather forecast for the next 3 days. And again, let's talk about this region right here, where we're going to continue to see that heavy rainfall through that, from that frontal boundary there, and some flash flooding issues, and that's going to be the primary threat for that severe weather today. And we have that heavy rainfall through the Four Corners, through Arizona primarily, and New Mexico, where we're going to be seeing those flash flooding issues in that region, and very hot weather across the Pacific Northwest, as we're seeing those temperatures exceed the 105 to 107 degree mark across the interior portions of Washington, as well as Oregon and into Idaho. So we're seeing a lot of high temperatures in this region as well. And typical summer weather along the West Coast, but very nice weather conditions across the upper Midwest into Minnesota and the Dakotas. Pretty comfortable weather conditions and relatively low humidities. And we'll see those scattered showers and embedded storms here through the Ohio Valley and the Great Lakes region, as well as through parts of the Northeast and along the Mid-Atlantic states. And we're going to be seeing that tropical moisture interacting with the Gulf Coast here, and it's going to be sparking some isolated to scattered showers and storms along the Gulf Coast and across the state of Florida this afternoon as well. And as we look at your Thursday for tomorrow, we're going to be dealing with more of that rainfall in this region here, as we have our frontal boundary that's in play, and that convergence will continue, and we will continue to see those areas of heavy rainfall in some of those thunderstorms along the areas of the southern Ohio Valley and into the Tennessee Valley and the mid-Mississippi River Valley as well. And those monsoons will continue through Arizona, New Mexico, and through parts of Colorado, and extend over into the southern central plains a little bit as well, where we can see some flash flooding from some very heavy thunderstorms. Nice weather across the northern plains and the upper Midwest, and that hot weather will continue across the Pacific Northwest of the interior portions of Oregon and Washington, but fairly comfortable along the coast. So if you're in Portland or Seattle, you're going to see those temperatures in the 80s. But if you're in like Spokane or Bend, you're going to be seeing those temperatures in the low 100s for your Thursday out there. Typical summer weather for California and the state of Texas is going to be hot again, as we're going to see another day of triple-digit heat across the state of Texas for your Thursday afternoon. And finally, let's take a look at your Friday. Look how clear it is across the upper Midwest, the Great Lakes, and the northern plains, as we're going to see fairly comfortable weather conditions. Maybe a slightly warmer toward the west here a little bit, as that warm air that's over the Pacific Northwest starts to migrate east. But for the meantime, we're going to be pretty comfortable here across the Great Lakes region. We have our frontal boundary here. That's going to spark some showers and some embedded thunderstorms here through the Northeast and into New England. And we're going to continue to see that heavy rainfall along the southern portions of this frontal boundary as well. So we're going to be seeing those flash flooding issues through the Tennessee, the lower Ohio Valley, the mid-Mississippi Valley, and into the Central Plains, and over into the desert regions of the Four Corners areas here, and more flash flooding from that monsoon moisture as well. And that dry weather will continue in the Pacific Northwest and down through the state of California for the most part. And that is our 3-day outlook for the next 3 days. Now here's our severe weather watch right now, and in today's severe weather, and we're going to see it superimposed over our radar here. And in this region, we're going to be seeing that marginal risk for severe weather, and that primary threat is going to be heavy rainfall. And here we could also see a tornado in this region, as well as we're going to see damaging winds and the possibility of a tornado through portions of the Central Plains there. And that is a look at your severe weather for this afternoon, and as we hop into tomorrow, and your primary areas that we're going to be seeing some heavy rainfall here again through this region of the mid-Mississippi Valley, the Tennessee Valley, and the lower Ohio Valley. We're going to be seeing that heavy rainfall with some of these thunderstorms, and that's going to be, excuse me, the primary threat for your Thursday afternoon there. And then we could see some more strong thunderstorms here into portions of the Northeast where heavy rainfall and some gusty winds is going to be the primary issues with that setup. And as for Friday, that severe weather threat is going to be along this region here as our slow to move frontal boundary is going to be in place, and heavy rain is going to be the primary threat through this part, through the Tennessee Valley, the mid-Mississippi Valley, and into parts of the Piedmont into Virginia as well. We're going to be seeing that heavy rainfall with some of those stronger thunderstorms in that region. And now let's take a look at the tropics. Now, the Atlantic side of the tropic is fairly quiet. So we're looking at the portions of the Caribbean Sea here and the Atlantic Ocean out there, and we don't see a whole lot going on, just a couple tropical waves that's not going to really organize into anything. Pretty quiet conditions over the Atlantic today. And now, as we go into the Gulf of Mexico, we do have a disturbance out here, out over the Gulf, and it's going to be contributing to some thunderstorm activity through portions of the state of through Florida and along the Gulf Coast. As you can see here, those clouds building up right along the Gulf Coast. You have that tropical moisture that's warm but cooler than the air mass, because those air masses are seeing those temperatures in the upper 90s to lower 100s. And there's a lot of humidity, and when that moisture interacts with that surface, with that land, it's going to make those thunderstorms form right along the coast. So it's very similar to how lake effect snow operates in the winter. That cooler air, that cooler air hits that warm air over the land, and it kind of does a reverse action here and causes those thunderstorms to erupt right along the coastal region. So you go inland, maybe 20 to 50 miles or so, you might deal with those isolated showers and thunderstorms. Usually these guys are very slow moving or stationary, and they pretty much rain themselves out where they form. So you may see those isolated storms along the Gulf Coast and in the tropical regions as well. And as we take a look at the Eastern Pacific, so here we are off the coast of Mexico, and we have Tropical Storm Fred here and Tropical Storm 8E, which is not Tropical Storm, but Tropical Depression 8 here, which is not going to, that might hit a minimal tropical storm as it's going to dance around in this region. But Frank here is going to move on off to the east, to the west, very, very slowly, and will probably advance to a minimal, maybe a minimal hurricane. As this is the numbers for it right now. Frank is moving to the northwest, and it's currently about 40 miles per hour sustained wind, so barely a tropical storm. So it's a very minimal tropical storm. It's expected to become at least a Category 1 hurricane by Friday. So that's going to be mainly out over the sea, not going to affect any land masses in any way. And then we have Tropical Depression 8 out here that's going to lollygag around and eventually become a tropical storm. But as you can see, the steering currents are kind of confusing right now, and it's going to kind of dance around out here. Eventually going to get picked up and carried off to the northwest, but it'll be a tropical storm in doing so. So that is a look at the tropics for the next couple of days. My name is Mr. G, and that was the update for the weather forecast there for the next few days, as well as talking a little bit about that heavy rainfall through portions of the middle Mississippi Valley and into the Tennessee Valley and into the lower Ohio Valley and portions of the southern Appalachians. We're going to be seeing that heavy rainfall continue through that part of the nation. My name is Mr. G. That was your forecast. Thanks for watching. I will see you tomorrow in the next video. Bye-bye.